Hello and welcome back to Ina Knits. This is my podcast about knitting. My name is Ina and I live in Norway. I am super duper fond of knitting and crocheting and other crafts as well. I love to be creative and I love yarn in particular. So that's mainly what this podcast is all about. I am very rusty. I haven't been recording or basically been speaking English for 6 months. So this is a bit strange. But I really wanted to make another go. And try get back into podcasting again, because I've been missing this. I've been missing to talk to you and doing this whole podcasting thing. My last episode was in December 2019. I don't have like full control of what I showed you during my last episode. There might be a chance that I show you something twice, or I miss out on telling you about stuff, but yeah, that's just how it's going to be this time. And so welcome. I am super duper happy that you are still checking in on Ina Knits, the channel, and if you're a new viewer, a warm welcome to you, and I hope you enjoy what you see today. Sorry, there's some, background noises. I have the window up because it's so hot today. It is 33 degrees Celsius outside. I'm inside and it's only 28 degrees Celsius inside. It's a bit too much for me. But yeah, I'm so excited. Oh yes, if you would like to find me on social media, I'm basically only on Instagram. I'm ina.knits on Instagram. So please follow me there. I haven't been posting anything on Instagram either since December, unfortunately. But hopefully I will get back on the, bandwagon and continue posting things there. I really enjoy connecting with other people and other knitters around the world. That's super exciting. And yeah, I have a Ravelry account as well. And on Ravelry, my username is Ina Pina. So yeah, that's where you can find me online. I think I will give you an update on what's been going on, the basics of it anyway, at the very end of this episode. So if you're interested in hearing just some life updates and such, please stick around until the end. But I will start off by letting you know my standings on the race situation in the United States at the moment, which is not only affecting the Americans, but it is affecting all of us, and it touches something very basic, fundamental in my heart, and things that are very important to me. I do have a couple of finished objects. There should be many more, considering the time that has passed since my last episode, but as I mentioned, I have been in a knitting hiatus. I didn't touch my needles almost at all for 3 months, I guess, and then my knitting mojo slowly came back to me in March, April. So that's why. But I have mainly been knitting sweaters. So I have a couple of finished sweaters. The first one is this, which is beautiful sweater knit bottom up with a round yoke consisting of kind of an eyelet pattern with these what you call it, bubbles. It is a Norwegian pattern that I found in Bladet Garn, their last edition. This is Bladet Garn number 10. And unfortunately they are not publishing any editions after this one, so this was the last one. So let me just browse through quickly. Yeah, so it is this pretty sweater. It's called Ballblom Genser, and it is patterned by Rauma. So here's another picture. It's a really beautiful sweater, and it is knit originally with using one strand of Rauma Finull and one strand of alpaca silk. Oh, fluff. I used Skein Queen. Her DK Voluptuous. This is a yarn that I got while in Edinburgh Yarn Festival 2 years back. Yeah. And I had this is a 200 gram, or it was a 200 gram skein, consisting of 512 meters each. I had 2 of them. Did I say that? So this is what I got left. So it was a perfect amount, and I held that yarn together with Ficolana Tilia. This is the Silk Mohair, color number 336. It's a kind of a champagne color. So, and I really like the color effect. It's slightly marled, I would say. And the lilac color is kind of muted down. Yeah, I haven't washed or blocked the sweater yet, but so the pattern will be more visible when I get to block it out properly. But I will not be able to use this anytime soon. So there's no rush to weave in ends or or complete it. One modification I did was to bind off using the tubular bind off method. It creates a very nice finishing. So instead of that defined line of bind up stitches, it's kind of an infinite edge, looking like it looks like you have knit over there, the bind up edge. So that's very neat, I think. Yeah, so that was the Ballblom Genser. From the same pattern booklet in Bloody Garn, I found a pattern of another sweater that I knit, and this is it. You knit the front and back separately, and you sew together afterwards, but it looks like you have knitted from this point and to the central back, if you know what I mean, because you change color in the middle, the front and the back, center back. So yeah, that was super fun and quick knit. This was intended for me, but it unfortunately turned out a bit too cropped. So my eldest daughter adopted it. I have used my stash yarn for this sweater. So I combined 3 different brands and yarn qualities, but they appear quite uniform on the finished product. So the dark blue, navy blue is Sandnes Kos, and the burgundy color is Rauma Puno, and the pale pink is brushed alpaca silk from Drops, and this is quite a bit thinner than the 2 others, so I held 3 strands together while knitting these parts of pale pink. So it's super soft and super comfy, and again quite hot right now, so it's more like a winter, spring, autumn, fall-ish sweater. And as I said, the pattern is from the same pattern booklet from Bloody Garn, their 10th edition. And this particular pattern is the Clash sweater by Mie Firin Christiansen. Yeah, so here you can see a better picture of the sweater and the nice pattern. Very graphic, I like that. So that was a super fun and quick knit, which I can really recommend. And so so great to be able to use up some stash yarn. Well, that's my, 2020 main goal for my knitting, is to use up as much stash yarn as possible. And to this date, we are now in late June, I have not been buying a single yarn of skein yarn. Nothing. I have not been buying yarn, and I'm super content and pleased with myself for that. Yes, so that's 2 sweaters down. I also have pair of socks completed. At least I think that I completed these after this last episode, but I can't guarantee. This is a Christmas sock, my 2019 Christmas socks, and I completed these, I think I completed these just before Christmas. Yay me. And here's the other one, and I have been using them and been washing them afterwards. This is made out of West Yorkshire spinners, and it is a pair that I made it out of yarn that I got from my friend Daisy. She already had knitted a pair for herself, so this is the leftover from whatever was left of the the 100-gram bowl. So it's a self-striping yarn. I can't recall the colorway name at the moment, but this was a Christmas colorway from West Yorkshire Spinners 2 or 3 years back, and I used a red, coordinating red from the same yarn brand for cuff, heels and toe. And I made a kind of a stitch pattern. It is a kind of a rib pattern where you knit the purl stitch every other row instead of every row. So you can see it here. It pulls the sock a bit together and creates a nice stretch. So it's like hugging the leg in a good way. A couple of projects that I have been completing also, but they were complete before, but I have been redoing some small things with them. The first one is a pair of socks that I knitted for my son during last year, but they turned out a bit too short for him, so I needed to add some length to the foot. So yeah, I just ripped back the toe and re-knitted the toe section, and you can kind of see where I did this, because I didn't care to unwind yarn and make sure that the stripes were correct, and yeah. So I think here you get kind of the light blue, and then it turns into the yellow. So the same happens here, but the yellow stripe is much narrower than it's up here. My son, he will not care about that, and the same happens here on the second one. So this stripe is more narrow than the other. But the important thing is that they are complete, and now he gets to wear them. Or at least when we get some cold weather, he can wear them again. Yeah, and the last thing was a sweater that I knitted for my eldest daughter probably 5 years ago. It's a bit wrinkly, but it's a beautiful yoked sweater with this super lovely leaf pattern. The Mary sweater by Marianne Bjerkman. And well, the problem I had with this one was that the collar around the neck was quite short originally, and it was, after some use, it was becoming a bit too wide. So my daughter, she didn't enjoy wearing it anymore. She wanted something that was hugging her more around her neck, and she really liked the color on this sweater. And here I have knitted a collar quite long, and it's folded in and sewn in on the inside. So she asked if I could do the same on the Mary sweater, and so I did. So I basically just ripped out the collar, picked up the stitches, and re-knit the collar. I folded the collar inside, and I did a bind off. I think it's called a 3-needle bind off. I picked up a stitch on the inside and I bound off a stitch, and then I pick up another stitch and I bind off. So I kind of, instead of sewing the edge afterwards, I did it while binding off. So I think it turned out very nice and neat, and yeah, it was just what she was looking for. So unfortunately I still had a small amount left of this original yarn, which is some kind of Pickles 3-ply yarn. Yeah, so that was a quick and nice project. That was everything that is off my needles. I do have a couple of things on the needles as well. No surprise there. I will start with showing you my most recent work in progress. Here it is. This is the Love Note by Tin Can Knits. And it's very difficult to see the lovely lace, but this is a super airy and light sweater that I very much enjoy knitting. I have completed one arm and have just picked up stitches and will continue with arm number 2, or sleeve number 2, I would say. I have not completed the length of the body yet because I wanted to, I think I ran out of yarn, that's why I stopped. I needed to change yarn anyway, so I figured I could just complete the neckline and the arms before I continue with the rest of the body. Yeah, so that's the plan. I have done the neckline 2 times. First of all, this is a top-down sweater, but you start with a provisional cast on, and then you pick up the stitches and complete the neckline afterwards. And I'm knitting the large size. And when I follow the pattern of the large size, for the neckline, it became way too tight. And I guess it's a matter of, preference and taste. But I really wanted a more loose fitting sweater, so I ripped that out and I redid the neckline, and I ended up decreasing a lot fewer stitches than the pattern suggests to create this quite wide neck opening. Yeah. I am using a combination of Piccolana, Tilia, the same as for the Balblom sweater, but this is color number 348. And I also got a rather huge cake of lovely Wollmeise lace. I can pull out the yarn tag for you to see. So this is come in a huge yarn baby skein. So this is the color name, Aloha. Yeah, this is a 300 gram skein, and it contains basically 1,500 plus meters of yarn. So I figured it would be more than enough for the Love Note sweater, and it definitely will be. This is a lot of yarn. I mean, I think I will probably use up maybe 1/3 or so for the entire sweater. I just had to take a small break to recharge the battery of my camera, and I went on YouTube and I double checked my last episode, which was episode 28, and it turns out it was back in October last year. Oh goodness me. That's such a long time ago. I thought I recorded an episode in December, but I did not. I did have the Hygge series in December, so that's probably why I thought that I recorded a podcast episode then. So then I realized that I have another finished object. Because in October I showed you the first of my Halloween socks. And now there is a pair. So this is a Regia. It's a Regia Perfect. I'm so out of shape. I'm sorry. It's this one. It's a Regia Perfect. It's the Arne & Carlos design line. And I call these my Halloween socks basically because the color combination reminds me of Halloween. That's it. Yeah. So I have another finished object. Yay me. And I've never used these. They are crisp, freshly washed and blocked, and I have never used them. So saving them for October 2020, I guess. I do have a sock on the needles as well. Here we go. This is a Lion brand yarn. It's not self-striping, but it's kind of variegated. You have this quite nice teal, petrol base color and some dark brown and lighter brown, like pinstripes. Oh, there you go. This is quite accurate with regard to color. So this is a super basic sock. I just I cast it on during one of my I needed something simple to work on during online work meetings during the period when I had to have a home office. Yeah, so this is something still ongoing, and I will just have it at hand for like when I meet up with someone or having meetings online, because I still do, even though I mainly am back in the office now. I still have online meetings from my office, and I do occasionally also still have a home office. So then it's super useful to have an easy knitting project going when I don't have to, you know, present something myself, or just can pay my attention on what is being presented and talked about, and I can let the fingers do the simple knitting work along with. So that's that. I also, during the outbreak of the coronavirus, I found a project that, you know, several designers made specific, you know, stay at home, stay safe designs. Many were free. So I found a really cool pullover designed by Lærke Bagger. She's a Danish designer, and she has this, it's rather kind of a tutorial on her Instagram account in the stories, where, on her profile page. So, and this is called Alone Together sweater. So it's a super cool, scrappy sweater, and it's knit on quite thick needles. I guess it's European size 7 or European. It's a 7mm needle, I think. I think maybe she recommended at 8, but I'm a quite loose knitter, so I use a 7 to achieve the correct gauge. And you knit the front and the back flat, and you sew it together. You make a seam on the shoulders, and you pick up for the neckline, and then you pick up, or I think she recommends that you knit the sleeves separately, but I wanted to pick up stitches and knit the sleeves from, you know, the body and down instead. I'm knitting these out of 1,000,000 scraps. I'm using basically, I think is it 3 strands of fingering, or 2? You can combine anything basically that you have in your stash. But I think that she kind of recommends either 2 strands of sport weight or something like that, or 3 strands of fingering ish. So I have several different combinations going here. I just basically wanted to use up lots of neutrals that I had. So I have combined anything from woolly wool, you know, non-superwash wools, and I have used baby wool, like Drops Fable, the sock yarn, and I even have put in some cotton, like really thin cotton for crochet, you know. You can kind of see it in here. And every now and then you just basically replace one of the threads that you have going in the background with the scrap, and you just knit some stitches with the scrap, and then you return to the ground color again, or ground color, yeah, the main color. Yeah. So, and I don't have enough of this white creamy yarn to create a whole sweater out of it, so I have tried to mix in some light grays and transitioned into some darker grays for the neckline, and I will knit the arms in a more gray tone as well. The reason why I just so suddenly stopped is twofold. Mainly because I'm using these interchangeable needles. These are from Knit Pro. It's their Marbles needle, which I really enjoy knitting with. But the cable just came loose from the connection, you know, the join here. And at the same time, this became way too hot to work on. So yeah, it has been just laying in a corner for, yeah, several weeks now. And well, if we get some cooler weather during summer, I will probably pick it up again and complete it, because I really enjoy working on this piece. I love working with scraps. It's just it's so meaningful to me to use up, you know, old stuff and make some beautiful things out of it. Yeah, so I will eventually complete it, but not when we have above 30 degrees outside. just ridiculous. I have just a couple of more things to show you. This is another sock that I have been knitting through the Corona time of home office, homeschooling. I guess this was the first sock that I casted on during my stay-at-home phase. This is a beautiful self-striping yarn from Showreel Studios. And it's made by my friend Carrie. She's from Texas, and she's dyeing beautiful yarns with very vibrant colors. It's a beautiful color combination. Striping sock, and this color is called Prairie Sky. Super vibrant. It's like happy colors. And I just barely started the cuff on sock number 2. I still have to finish the toe on sock number 1. I will do a Kitchener stitch, as I almost always do, but I didn't have the darning needle at hand when I finished this, and so I pulled out the needles and started on sock number 2 instead. And these are living in my computer bag at work. So it's also an online meeting knit that I have going. I have started a new blanket. At some point 2 or 3 weeks ago, I just craved a crochet blanket project. I met a wonderful lady during, was it back in February? I was at a meetup on Løkken. No, in Orkanger. There was a meetup what was it called? It was a knitters meetup with some designers and some podcasters, and it was arranged by Patricia, who is P Fortune, or has the website and a podcast called Knitography. So there were many people there, lovely makers and knitters from around the world, and I met a lovely lady called Marta. She's Polish, living in London, and she has a podcast and an Instagram account called Matrushka Knits, and she is crocheting the most beautiful blankets. I mean, if you are in the lookout for some crochet inspiration, there's so many beautiful things there. She has some crochet alongs going, I don't know all the time, but often. And she has some meetups, and yeah, very inspirational things going on there. And she also has some beautiful knitting, so lovely colors, very inspiring to watch. So we talked for a couple of hours, and she told me that when you're going through some difficult times, you should pick up and crochet a blanket, because you can process a lot of your feelings and thoughts through that process of crocheting this blanket. And then you, at the end, you will have a special blanket that, you know, remind you of the time where you had the, yeah, whatever. It can be, of course, a happy blanket as well, but I just, a couple of, or 3 or 4, I don't know, weeks ago, I just suddenly came to a point when where I, like, and now I need to crochet a new blanket. I had some, yeah, difficult days, and yeah, I just needed to cast on a new crochet blanket. And yeah, so this is the blanket so far. It's not big, but it is like I'm making a giant granny square. And I don't really do a particular pattern. I just, there's a lot of free patterns for granny squares out there. So my intention is to just crochet on and on and on until it's as big as I want it to be. You know, it's supposed to be a lap blanket. So I started off with crocheting with 1 strand of fingering weight scrap yarn. I have a lot of these baskets of small nuggets of fingering weight yarn. A lot of beautiful ones. But then I thought it became a bit too thin, so that's why I decided to add 1 strand of thin alpaca. I have quite a few of these in my stash. This is thin alpaca from Pickles, pure thin alpaca in a beige color. So I'm basically just crocheting along until I ran out of color, and I make sure to switch the direction of the crocheting, because I've heard that if you keep crocheting around and around and around for a giant square, it will become twisted or something. So to avoid that, I switch the direction of my crocheting every now and then. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I think the colors turn out quite nice. They become more muted due to the beige color. So, and that's quite nice. Last but not least, it actually feels a bit strange talking about things that I made like half a year ago, but during Advent I casted on for scrappy wrap, and this is a pattern by Amba O'Brien. It's called the Adventurous Wrap, and it's kind of a wide, a bias shaped scarf, and I think when you block it out it will be super beautiful. And the intention here for me, I think the original pattern does not require you to use all these scraps, but I just saw the potential of trying to use up a lot of beautiful yarns that I have laying around. So I just, for every repetition of the pattern, I have switched yarn and try to make the transition as natural as possible. And yeah, so I will like fade into other colors as I go along. There's quite some time since I last knitted a stitch in this. I think back in maybe January-ish. So, well, I have forgotten the pattern now. I need to pick it back up and get in the swing of it again. So, but this is fingering weight yarn, and it is actually a very nice summer project. Maybe I can have it as my vacation, summer holiday, and it. That's a thought. And this project and all the small nuggets that I plan to put into the wrap is living in a gorgeous drawstring bag from Spool Stories. And this is quite big, and it's so extremely well made. And it has this beautiful fabric with a rabbit and a deer and some forest theme going on, and it's lined with small stars, and it got pockets, yeah, even a little a ring here where you can attach progress keepers and stuff like that. It is a beautiful bag, and Mary-Lisa, who is the maker behind Spool Stories, she was so generous and has gifted another bag to the Ina Knits podcast, and I will give this away to one of you. I think I will save it for my next episode, which will be episode 30, and I will have a giveaway. And this is the same fabrics, but it is a zippered bag instead of a drawstring. But this is, well, it's super well made, and it has a boxed bottom, so it stands up on its own. And this is her super nice label, and here's her card. So you can go into her Etsy shop and have a look if you are in the lookout for some beautiful bags. So stay tuned for my next episode if you're interested in winning this gorgeous project bag for your knitting. Oh, it's so cute. I love it. Yes, I think I have come to the end. I don't have any more knitting to show. I hope that the lighting hasn't been too bad. I know that due to this very bright background, the light setting might vary a bit, but hopefully you have bared with me. I just wanted to finish off this episode by letting you know a little bit about what's been going on, why I have been pausing podcasting for so long. So basically, I made the Hygge series during December, and I completely, for some reason, lost my knitting mojo over the festive season. In January, I just my knitting inspiration disappeared. I went through a surgery in the beginning of January, and I had to, nothing dramatic, I just was something that needed to be done, and so I was staying at home for a couple of weeks to recover after that, and I was thinking then that I could just sit on the couch and knit, and but I didn't feel like it at all, so I just lost it completely for some reason. And then I didn't feel like podcasting because I had nothing to talk about, and it didn't like speak to me to podcast at the time. And then we had some very busy weeks at work, and you might or might not know, I separated from my husband a year ago, and I live alone now together with my 3 kids. So life is super hectic. I used to work not full time, so I had some spare time and a day a week to, you know, do other things, but now I work full time, and the craziness is completely here because I have like kids around me all day or all evening and night and during the weekend, so I barely have any time to myself. So I'm mentioning this because it kind of explains how my I struggle to find the space and the time to sit down and record. So that's why. And then March came, and you know, you all know what happened with the coronavirus spreading around, and Norway just completely shut down during March. So we had a period of about 90 days, I think, 3 months where schools were closed, and my office closed, so we all had to work from home, and we had to do homeschooling at the same time, and yeah, it was of course a hard time for all of us, but it kind of was worth it in the end because the corona situation is kind of under control in Norway, at least at the time. So the school was open for some weeks there, and before the school summer holiday started, and my office has opened up and is back and running now. So things are kind of normalized, but we don't travel abroad for holidays, for the summer holiday. We are staying kind of at home. We are allowed to go we are allowed to travel inside Norway, so we can go wherever we like, and we are going to spend summer at home or in our cabin in the mountains, and we will travel to visit my family. So that's the plans for this summer. So yeah, that's basically what has happened. My eldest daughter, she is it high school? She's 17, or she's turning 18 in a couple of weeks. So she has spent the last school year in Mexico as an exchange student. But due to the situation in March, as she had to come home early, she was She was going to stay there until July, August, so she had to just stop her exchange year early and get on a plane back home in late March. So there was a lot of back and forth, and the situation with her was quite difficult. We weren't sure we were going to get her home, so it was a challenging time for us. But it turned out okay, and she got home safe, and so we are kind of all together now, and that's very, very good. So yeah, that is the situation with my family. I have a couple of days alone home now. Yeah, and I forgot to tell you, we got a dog. So when the society kind of shut down during the Corona month of March, we just realized that this is the perfect timing to get a dog. We have been talking about getting a dog for some time. So we got a dog. His name is Billy, and he's called a Russian Bolonka. So he's a cute little doggy, and he was 6 months when we got him. So he was kind of over the worst of the puppy phase. Now he's more into like a teenager phase, so it's kind of crazy, but he's also very cute and cuddly and very sweet. So yeah, so there's enough going on in my house, that's for sure. Yeah. But we are staying healthy, we are well, we haven't been ill at all during this crazy time. So we are very grateful for that. That's the most important thing, of course. Well, with that, thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope that you all are well, and that you take good care of each other and yourself and stay safe. I hope to talk to you again during July, and until then, have a lovely summer.